Raise your hand if you've ever walked up to someone at a social gathering, desperately tried to think of something witty to say, and ended up asking the most robotic interrogation-style question imaginable, like, "So what do you do?" or "Where are you from?" Watch their eyes glaze over as they give you the exact same rehearsed answer they give to everyone else. Yeah, same. But here's the truth. Most people don't struggle with conversation because they lack charm, wit, or an interesting personality. They struggle because they treat small talk like a high-stakes job interview instead of an exchange between two living, breathing humans. Let's look at the psychology. Humans are hardwired to crave acknowledgement, not the deep philosophical kind every single second, but the basic validation that says, "Hey, I see you standing there and you exist." Yet social convention trains us to do the exact opposite. We walk into rooms and immediately throw heavy, exhausting questions at strangers, questions that force them to perform, explain, justify, or summarize their entire existence, like "What do you do?" "What's your major?" or "What do you bring to the table?" No wonder everyone hates small talk. It feels like a pop quiz you didn't study for. So every time you enter a room, forget the standard questionnaire. Ask yourself one simple principle instead. How can I make this person feel seen without putting them on the spot? That brings us to the core framework, active observation. Most people think conversation requires a massive vocabulary or an arsenal of fascinating stories. It doesn't. Active observation is about pulling your eyes away from your phone screen, dropping your internal monologue of anxiety, and paying attention to the person standing right in front of you, not their aura or their vibe, but the actual details. What are they wearing? What are they holding? Are they checking their watch, fidgeting with their keys, or staring into the distance? Once you notice those tiny details, your job is simple. Turn your observation into a neutral, low-pressure comment instead of a demanding question. Think about why this works. First, it's disarming. You're not demanding anything from the other person. You're simply tossing them an invitation to respond if they feel like it. Second, it completely removes performance anxiety. Nobody has to come up with the perfect answer or feel like they're being evaluated. Imagine you're standing in line at a coffee shop and the person next to you is holding a worn-out paperback. The obvious instinct is to ask what they're reading, but that forces them to summarize a story or explain why they like it. Instead, say that the book looks like it survived a few battles. They might laugh and tell you it's their third reread, or admit they're only finishing it out of stubbornness. Either way, you've opened the door without putting them on the spot. Now picture a party or networking event. Someone walks by with a plate of appetizers that honestly don't look very appealing. Instead of standing there awkwardly, joke that the chicken looks like it fought back. You're not asking them to entertain you, you're simply pointing out something both of you can see. Shared observations create shared experiences. Or imagine someone wearing a tie covered in tiny rubber ducks. Most people would simply say, "Nice tie," and the conversation would end there. Instead, ask what the story is behind the duck tie. Suddenly, you've turned an ordinary accessory into something memorable and made the other person feel genuinely noticed. This approach works almost everywhere, from work meetings and networking events to first dates, family gatherings, and casual everyday encounters. But there's one important catch. You have to genuinely mean it. People can sense fake interest immediately. If you're only repeating techniques because you memorized them from a script, your tone will feel forced and people will notice. Real curiosity can't be faked. The other secret nobody talks about is becoming comfortable with silence. Sometimes you'll make an observation and the other person won't engage. That's completely normal. Not every interaction is supposed to become a lifelong friendship. Active observation isn't about forcing a connection. It's about giving people an easy opportunity to connect if they choose to. If they don't, smile, nod, and move on without taking it personally. Finally, think about how much mental energy you waste worrying about how you're perceived. The reality is that most people are far too busy thinking about themselves to judge you. They're worried about their own awkwardness, their own appearance, and whether they said the right thing. When you stop focusing on yourself and instead notice something small about someone else without expecting anything in return, you naturally stand out. Not because you're the loudest person in the room, but because you're the most present.